Ready to go.
Okay, so let me get it started. Again, we'll start with the introduction. My name is Fred Babaee. I am the host of this podcast. I'm also a partner in chair at IAMCP SoCal. My business is a B2B sales accelerator. We provide strategic planning, leadership training, go-to-market strategy, revenue marketing. Basically, what we do in a nutshell is I've owned the PC manufacturing business in the past, and I had it for 25 years, and I successfully exit that business in 2013. So what we do in the nutshell in this business is, because of my past experience and the number of connections that have sort of accumulated from doing business for so many years, we bring in clients who are looking to scale and grow and eventually exit their business. So we sort of help them in terms of how to go to market, how to scale, how to grow, and how is a perfect time to exit, and be able to really take advantage of what we've done in the past, the challenges, the success that we've had, and then provide that into our clients. So that's me. Thank you again, Denny and Promod. And we'll start with you, Denny. Go ahead and let us know who you are and what you do.
Okay. I'm Denny Ghim. I'm a director of channel sales at Sandler Partners. Sandler Partners is a technology service distributor. The old name used to be Master Agency. And you can think of us as a technology hub distributor where all the various technology sources can come and sell their services to our network of 10,000 agents plus across the globe. So, companies like Microsoft, AT&T, Verizon, RingCentral, all of these kind of familiar names that you may have heard of, Vonage. You can sell anything from internet services to software development and Internet of Things. So if you can think of it in the technology space, we'll cover that. What I do are two things. I recruit agents. I find partners like Promod, who we're going to speak to today, to help enrich their portfolio. So if they're selling them a software platform, we can go talk to them and help them deepen those relationships of all the services they're already using, and allow them to sell those services and get those recurring revenues to help bolster that business and provide a much more comprehensive solution as opposed to one piece. So that's our strategy. That's number one. Or two, I also just help directly to custom end users, help them with their business and provide solutions and bring in partners like Promod in the software data analytics space. In this case, Promod sat outside of the Sandler portfolio, so I was able to bring in Promod, and we had a very successful process, which we're going to talk about today. So that's me in a nutshell. I love hiking, biking, camping, and I like new people. So, it's a perfect job for me.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Danny. Great organization, Sandler Partner. No matter how small, how big your company is, you can join that sort of organization, and you can do business. That's the way I understood about Sandler Partner. So it's a great organization, and definitely a place to go in and partner with a whole bunch of other organizations. Thank you, Danny. Promod, go ahead, please, and introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah, sure. I'm Promod Antony with Logic Intelligence. We are a technology solutions provider specializing in data, AI, and business applications. I'm the CEO of the company, and we are based in Oregon and Washington. And we help businesses to automate their data and workflows using AI processes or like data processes and help them to take decisions faster, even if it's real-time analytics, or if they want to create some workflows. We are capable of doing all those kind of things using the technologies, especially with Microsoft. And then we are also partners with Databricks, Snowflake, Tableau, all these different other businesses. We bring our expertise, 25 years of expertise to the table, and help them with their decision-making process.
Wonderful. So I would say that data and analytics would be a part of what you do, and basically look at organizations. What it doesn't matter what is sitting on the database, you look at it and be able to analyze it for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we do data analytics from soup to nuts. So the time when they ingest the data, all the way to the reporting or creating data models or things like that. So the data may be coming from multiple sources. We bring that together in an automated fashion through different pipelines. If they have Databricks, we use Databricks as the software. If they have Microsoft, we will use Microsoft tools and AI tools to bring everything together and create that data model they want to run with it. And take decisions on top of it.
It's amazing that how things have changed since 90s and 2000, and with what's going on with all this massive data. Every business is dealing with some sort of data, and if they're not able to look at it, analyze it, and improve their sort of doing business, they are behind. And this is a perfect way for them to connect with you and be able to for you to be able to analyze that data for them. So thank you both for introduction here. So we are here, of course, as we all are member of IAMCP. I'm a member of IAMCP SoCal. You both are IAMCP Seattle chapter. How'd you guys meet? If you don't mind telling us, how'd you guys meet?
Our eyes locked across a long room, and we just knew. No,
Yeah.
I think it's both. I'll go and start, Promod.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Both Promod and I joined the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, IAMCP, for hopes of networking and getting to know more in the community, so that we can push our services as well as learn more about other services. So, through that engagement, Promod actually and I met at the IAMCP Seattle. We are both from the Portland area in Oregon, so about, what is that, almost 200 miles south. And we met on a Teams call like this. And we had a wonderful leader who's still the leader over there in Seattle, Paul Solsky. Nice plug for Paul. He's been fantastic in creating an environment for us to intermingle. So what part of his exercises that we go through is we put together a fictitious problem we're solving for in our breakout sessions. And then he'll throw us into a group of 3 or 4 people. We get quick introductions of everybody's services, and then we start to tackle a solution of how we're going to integrate each person's skill set into that solution. Well, in this particular time, I saw Promod a couple of times, and he's elusive because he's a popular guy and hard to get a hold of. But I finally tracked him down, and I actually was in one of these little breakout sessions, and I had an actual project that I wanted to try to accomplish. So I think there were about 4 of us in that room, and I threw out a solution, and the one was Oregon Food Bank, which is a very worthy cause, feeding thousands of people daily, and it was a very important thing, at least very dear to my heart, as I'm a big fan of what they do. But I was very honored to be able to be part of a particular project that needed Promod's expertise in data analytics. Now, I very well could have used any one of the various providers in the Sandler portfolio, but I felt it was more important to develop a relationship with Promod. And secondly, from what I could see, his white glove touch, I guess, and also being local to me, was instrumental in winning that business and also providing Oregon Food Bank a level of performance that I don't believe they would have gotten from some of these bigger behemoths. And their teams that may have been all over, the world. Who knows where they would have been? But Promod was right in the backyard. We were having a very successful time doing that. So that's what kind of brought us together, that particular first opportunity. And then ever since then, we're still going strong. We've got others in the pipeline, and we're excited about the future. But I think that's how we got together. And then we keep on seeing each other at the IAMCP. We still are working together and, sharing the successes as Promod keeps on winning as I put him in front of these opportunities. And I'm excited to do that with more people within the IAMCP. I want to find more people, and also I want to be able to push the Sandler offerings deeper into their clients. And through some of our interactions right now, that's starting to happen. I'd love to see more of that. So hopefully that's a good start.
Yeah, thank you, Denny. And let me add a little bit more to that. So we actually started in that breakout room, right? And then Denny brought this idea, and we pitched this idea in front of me. We were seeing each other. Maybe we might have met like a couple of times, and then this came up. Then we pitched this idea in front of Paul. We come back to the breakout room and did the pitching, right? And the very next day, we were at a tea shop. We actually set up a face-to-face meeting and took that idea to further. And that became a project, full-fledged project, like we actually discussed that. So that's the power of IAMCP. So we partnered together. That project is going very well. And then we repeated that same thing with other manufacturing businesses and other as well.
Excellent. Excellent. What a great story. So you guys actually met during one of the IAMCP breakout rooms.
Absolutely.
And then you started actually seeing interest in terms of how you can do business with each other. And then you followed up and then you executed. And that's the way, a lot of people get to go to these rooms and they get to know each other, but they don't execute in terms of following up with the next step. And this is great that you guys were able to meet up there, then follow up, and then eventually work on a deal, closing it, and deliver that sort of excellent service to the customer, which is the most important part of all this, is making sure the customer is happy and satisfied.
100%. I think it's a mindset too, Fred, to be honest, is I think a lot of the people within the IAMCP, they're very siloed in various segments. So they're very focused on their business. I live in an environment where I've got 300 different carrier service providers. It's difficult to have just one siloed skill set. So when I look at a various company I'm talking to or a partner, we're looking at a full picture solution. We're looking at how to help them transform their business. So either one, they're improving workflow efficiency, they're achieving some sort of project they're trying to accomplish. We're reducing risk. We're doing all of these multiple things, and we can start with one thing and then we can expand into others. But it's really just the mindset. And so I'm hoping, with this activity that we can help each other learn from that. And then from there, we're better together, right? As long as we can leverage each other's strengths, like for instance, Fred, your go-to-market and how to open up doors and so forth, I'm sure we can all use that type of solution. So anyway, I just thought I'd add that in.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it is a great way in terms of getting to know what the partner does and then be able to follow up, execute, and then move on, which is very important. So you guys met, you started doing business. tell me what role each of you played in this sort of relationship, delivering the service to the customer.
Well, I was the tip of the spear, so to speak. I initially did the outreach. I So initially, when I started with the IAMCP, I was introduced to the IAMCP through JP O'Donnell, who I have to give a lot of kudos to. He has opened the doors to the relationship at the IAMCP, as has a really wonderful. And I'm giving him a quick plug here with his AI engine that does outreach and builds relationships to open doors. So JP opened the door, and then through that, I met Promod and all the different members within the IAMCP. But what initially opened the conversation is I wasn't sure, as I mentioned, that the siloed idea, it's hard to kind of reach out and pull somebody in. I wasn't seeing a lot of collaboration. So sometimes my belief is come to the party, come to a house with a gift. And so that was my hope, is I provide a gift to Pramod and say, hey, I think I got something for you. And then, from there, that did open up the gates. So Pramod started thinking a little bit differently as well. As he started gaining contracts and so forth, he started thinking, hey, Denny, can you take a look at this? And he threw a couple of things at me. And from there, we're starting to massage and grow that as well. I mean, honestly, one contract can literally change your life. So that's what we're really hoping for. So anyway, that's what I have to add.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pramod. I know you have something to say.
So Denny actually did the sales part of it, and then we both did the pre-sales, and then from there we actually took it up to do the implementation side of the whole project. So that's the role which we both took.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, it's always important to have a wide area of network of clients, network of connections. So these connections can help you to introduce you to someone else, because they know someone who knows someone else, perhaps, who may be needing your services. Get this sort of people connected, and then you can actually close the deal on delivering your services. It's all about your network.
Yeah, and one thing to add is I'm actually a programmer who came to this became the CEO of the company, and my kind of sales navigation is totally different than a person like Denny. So the other thing is I cannot have like a full-time sales and marketing full department I don't have that kind of budget. I'm not a big company, Fortune 100 company or something. I'm a small business. So that actually complement from the Denny side, where he's good at trying to bring in all these kind of connections and deals. So that actually worked very well for our business.
It is. You're exactly right. You're not the only one. In a lot of small businesses, you are the CEO changes hat all the time, from being an owner to a salesperson to a marketer to a purchaser, and that's the way it is till you get to a point where you can actually grow the business, and you can actually manage the business rather than managing inside the business in terms of growing it. So that's there. I mean, it will happen eventually. I know it. A lot of business owners have to think out of the box in terms of how they want to grow their business, rather than being so much inside of their business. That's extremely important. In regards to, I know that every deal has got challenges. We all know that, because we are sort of problem solvers, right? When we go and solve a problem, something else comes up because it's always there. It's like building a house. You build it, and then they come back and say, can you add this, or can you remove this, or can you change that? So what type of challenges do you think you guys faced while you were delivering that service to your customer?
I think one of the things were when Denny actually asked some question, I was very, I get the message and then I will reply to him very fast because he, when it's come to the sales side, they want the information faster, right? So that was one thing I actually made sure I'm providing all those information back to him so that he can provide that back to his leads or his customers. So that was one. The other one was like early in the stages, we made sure we had everything in paper to make sure how we are going to be getting paid and all those kind of things. So we made sure that is that even if we actually met online through IAMCP and we are friends and everything, but that was one thing we actually made sure so that we are clear upfront about it.
Yeah, I would agree. And then what I really admire about Promod is his team has, when we went to go meet with the clients, he's very clearly defining and creating a scope of work. And I think that's really important to a customer. Unfortunately, some of the deals that I put in front of Promod, when I provide them to, let's say, some larger type of companies that do the similar type of thing, they're very vague and they're a little bit harsh as far as the interaction, and they don't provide the detail that they're requiring. So even though they mean the bigger companies that are doing this, it's not typical for them to kind of break out the scope of work and do all that type of stuff. Promod very quickly and diligently breaks that out, makes it relatable, and then it's much more consumable for that particular company. And these companies, that we're talking about, they're anywhere from 20 to $100 million companies. And, in the scope of the size of the type of companies that live inside of Microsoft, that may not be a big deal, but these are the companies that keep us alive. And so if we can work in that space and do very well, that's great. And so that was really important to me. And those are challenges that overcome. And what I needed my own challenge is to get out of my head, because there are things that Promod can do that I had no idea he could do. And so I wasn't even going out to reach out to him. And then when I started asking him about, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And he goes, oh yeah, I've done that. And I'm like, wow, what am I doing? Promod, let's have that conversation. And so that makes it even more exciting, is that we have more opportunity to collaborate. And just like going into a company and starting with one service, now we're both in each other's companies and we're expanding our services so that we can know the scope of the things that we can do together, which makes a much more richer relationship. And and as we are going further, Promod points out other things that within the IMCP family that, Michael does this, Catherine does that, Paul does this. Like, oh, well, we should be talking to them about this. So we have to find places to put all of them. And, through that collaboration, that's the power of the IMCP. And I think more we can share that, and the more that culture is fostered, we're going to have some amazing opportunities, results. I feel like if companies only knew the talent pool that lives within the IMCP, they would be blown away and pretty excited to work with the organization.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to add one more thing. When Denny talked about it, I actually reminded me of something. So one of the other challenge were in the pre-sales when they want to get the pricing estimation of the price. As IMCP partners and partners with Microsoft, we were able to talk to Microsoft and try to nail down to the pricing level where we have all the tools, but then we were able to talk to their support and make sure we are not missing anything in the estimate, so that we are giving a very good in the pre-sales. We put together all these presentation. So those were some of the challenges we had to go through, but at the end, client was very happy with what they are seeing, and that's how we got it.
Excellent. Yeah, that's all about that, being able to deliver the end results, service, the best service to the customer. And that's what you were able to do. So beside challenges, I understand there is also some sort of unexpected roadblocks. And it seems like always happens in something in terms of something happens that you have to change directions. Has that happened to you guys, and how were you able to adapt to that?
I would say it's a standard thing, that we're expecting roadblocks, and so like even our first deal, some of the stakeholders, were taking medical leave, doing different things, so it kind of created challenges to complete projects and whatnot. But we just stay steady to the plow. We're working together to overcome and solve for those. Right, Pramod?
Exactly, and then there are risks, non-risk that could happen. I mean, in any process, there are some non-risk, and we actually provide some of those risks upfront and try to mitigate those risks faster. If some of these happen, this is how we can resolve it and things like that. So that was some of the roadblocks, I would say.
Yeah. Uh, exactly. There is some sort of it's becoming normal, right? It's being able to look at the roadblocks and be able to bring in a solution to deliver that solution to the customer.
I would
Uh,
add, Fred, one of the challenges that I think often happens in building partnerships is poor communication. So that was one thing that I thought was addressed early on, and I wanted to just to make sure that to Pramod, when I'm dealing with a partner and bringing somebody in, um, I don't really break the difference between a friend and a business partner, because it's like I do this all the time. So I take everything very personal. So
yeah,
I've just explained to Pramod, we're kind of like a marriage. You're going to have to communicate with me, let me know what's going on, and vice versa. I'll let you know everything that's going on. So
yeah,
those type of things, I think if you address those ahead of time, are going to be super important, and it'll make uh, your project a lot more successful and a lot more happier as you go along.
Yeah.
Transparency.
Exactly, and trust we build.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are not going behind and taking over some of the project. No, we are. This is actually for. It's not for a 1 or 2 day thing. We are going to be. This is for. This marriage is forever.
Right.
So,
Right.
uh,
Right.
and it's good for everyone in the who is leading this.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
that's true. Looks like you answered my next question that I was about to ask, but I will ask it anyway. What sort of lessons did you guys learn from this partnership? Uh, and I guess in every relationship there's a lesson you learn, and then you apply it towards your next relationship. It's just like Praman said, it's like a date. You date someone, you learn something, and then you implement it. How do you think that applied to you guys?
I learned two things. One thing I learned is I you can't wait for one of the partners to come out and bring you in, thinking that that business is going to come to you. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and make those introductions and relationships within your partner field. So if you're finding something that's a little outside your scope, like my first project that I worked with Pramod was completely outside the scope of where I normally operate. But after meeting with Pramod and having these conversations, I quickly understood that he was a very uh, well prepared and knowledgeable person in that subject matter. My confidence was strong enough to say, okay, I'm going to pitch this guy and we're going to win this together. I already made up my mind. That's what's going to happen. So I learned that sometimes you got to put yourself out there. If you find opportunities that seem a little bit outside your scope, find the right partner, approach them, and go after it. And the second thing I learned from this is don't be afraid to ask even as silly as it is, ask your partner, your community, hey, can anybody do this? And somebody will raise their hand, and I'm all the time blown away, like, oh, you guys can do that? That's great. Let's go do it, So anyway, that's what I learned.
Yeah. One of I think it's something somewhat related. So one of the things I actually learned from this is I like working remotely. I have been working remotely for more than 20 years. And before COVID, we were doing that even before COVID. But then this face-to-face meeting has a real meaning. It has some other magic. When we meet in person in Seattle, that's happening there. So so I feel that face-to-face meeting gathering for maybe like 1.5 hour meeting, monthly meeting, that actually made a big difference. Secondly, we are not waiting for the project to do the partnership at that point. Once we are actually making those relationships way before the project comes up. So we already made our mind. Oh, for this project there is someone in mind, like a movie. The director already knows this character. They can actually use someone, and they have someone in mind, right? Same kind of approach here. I've found that building all this connection will help us in the future when there is a big project coming in. There is a project that's going on, like $30 million project. I cannot do it by myself, so there we need partners. So who would be the recruiting partner? Who would be the technology partner, or different other areas? So that actually I learned that from these partnerships.
Exactly. Yeah, it's you mentioned a really good thing, Praman, in terms of in-person meeting. Before COVID, most of our meetings were in person. Almost all of it were in person, where you get to meet your customers, your vendors. We used to actually do lunch and learn every month. We were actually a Microsoft Gold certified partner. So they actually, because of the amount of business we did with Microsoft, we had so much marketing money that they were giving us and said, you either use it or you lose it. So we used it in terms of putting these events together. And it was such an amazing process, in a way, that getting everybody together, people who haven't seen each other, customers who meet other customers who wanted to do business with each other, vendors who came in and talked about their product and services. It was a great event. And I think this is happening more now in terms of doing a lot more in-person meeting. There's still a lot of remote. I do my things remote pretty much all the time. But in-person meetings is something else. And it's coming back, and it's coming back big in terms of people really welcoming that. So my next question is, I know we talked about how JP and Paul were able to bring some opportunities to you. So I guess the question is, being part of IAMCP influenced your approach to do business with each other. What would you say about that in terms of this right here where we are? You both met actually at one of this breakout room at IAMCP. How would you describe that in terms of the influence that made you become partner and recommend it to others?
You want to go, Pramod?
I'm thinking.
Okay, I'll do it. So I can think of kind of distinct things that I learned. So I learned from Paul. He's very systematic and strategic about the conversation and what is said and how to keep people moving along. I've learned from Paul by watching him. And it's true what they say about, who do you want to be in 7 to 5 years? And it's the people you hang around with. And I want to be like Pramod. I want to be like Paul. I want to be like JP. I want to be as cool as those guys and as smart as those guys. So I think that's what's really great is, we're surrounding ourselves with people that are teaching us then things that are small but very, very significant. For JP, he's taught me a lot about utilizing social media and how important it is, and how the landscape of the world we live in, especially in the world that I live in, and doing outreach and communication. If you don't understand social media, you're really living in the dark ages. It's really easy for me to kind of go back, and because I'm really a handshake guy. I want to be in person, but that's not enough anymore. You have to use the tools of today to be in Tomorrowland. Otherwise, you will be left behind. And it's a little terrifying for a lot of people, but there's no need to be terrified. These lessons can be taught. They can be mentored. They can be bought. A lot of these things can be bought. And so I think that's really important to remember. So those two things I learned from those two guys. And then Pramod, man, I learned to just ask the question, can you do this? And, usually Pramod's like, yeah, we've done that. I'm like, that's awesome. So, don't be afraid to ask. But that's what I've learned.
Yeah, so influences in IAMCP for me, it's like even the connections with Microsoft. That's actually very valuable. We are able. I mean, as a small business, it's very difficult to actually get the knowledge of who is who in the business of Microsoft. So, being a member of my IAMCP, we are actually meeting with a lot of leaders in Microsoft and learning from Microsoft leaders as well as other partners. Partners are willing to share their ideas, their learnings, how they are actually achieving this. So those are some of the things which I won't get outside of IAMCP. This is one world where partners are sharing their how they are doing business, and oftentimes I actually take those ideas and do my own research and come up with my own kind of marketing or sales to get to the next level.
Yeah, and greatly said. A lot of people think that large companies such as Microsoft, Intel, and these other large organizations is hard to do business with. But in reality, you're not doing. You're doing business with organizations that are distributing their product and services, and therefore they can recommend you to others who they are doing business with, who can use your services. And I always tell my clients and my customers is make sure that you register for any event that is associated with these larger organizations, because you get to know a lot of clients, a lot of colleagues that you may not do business now, but it's not that, eventually you will, in terms of getting to know each other. Again, it's all about your network, right?
Agreed.
So I wanted to ask, there's of course there's always a tangible outcome coming out of this partnership. And in terms of your relationship, your partnership, you doing business together and delivering that to the customer, what tangible outcome would you be able to talk about? Revenue, growth, getting to know somebody else who can recommend you to someone else. What were those sort of things that you think came out of this relationship?
For me, it's both revenue and also the technology. I mean, different technology. It may be we start with one technology, but then always there is this learning curve in the technology. Now we started with Azure and Fabric, and now we are talking about agentic AI. I mean, where no one can come and say, oh, I have like 10 years of agentic AI building agentic AI so we are all trying to learn together with how the technology is taking us. So for me, that opportunity to try new things, that's also another thing I learned from these partnerships.
The tangible things I learned, I mean, they are revenue. We're all driven by that. Revenue solves a lot of problems, right? So I'd rather be plagued with so much work, my head's about to blow up, than twiddling my thumbs. That's just, kind of the way I look at things. So to me, the tangible things that I came away with are, one, deals we won together, and I feel confident that I'm in a much better place in the marketplace because of my stronger relationships that I've started to develop, that I have with Promod and various others within the IAMCP. So when I go, let's say, talk to a client and they're asking for things that are not necessarily in my sphere, but all of a sudden living out here or over here, I don't worry about that. I'm like, I take the information. I think I believe I can help you. And then we set up that secondary call. We bring on one of our subject matter experts, and lo and behold, we're answering and we're fitting everything that they're looking for. So, that is the tangible things that I think that I've gotten as a stronger relationships to open up more doors and win more deals together. We're also doing a lot of good for these companies because now more than ever, they need people like us that are helping them navigate this very technical, confusing world. I mean, even myself living in it every single day, I probably get at least 20 to 50 different messages of different technologies in somewhat of the same space. And then I get a little almost confused. Okay, well, what's the best? And I can only imagine if I'm a customer and I'm trying to find something and I get bombarded just by putting a little search word and then everybody's scraping the internet and coming after me, it's kind of scary, right? So we need to be kind of that light in the darkness to be able to, put a beacon up and say, hey, let me clarify the path for you. Let me show you a few things. So that's what I think the tangible things is, to try to be that trusted, knowledgeable, clear advisor to help our customers.
Exactly. So very important in a way that this partnership not only helped in growing your revenue because you basically closed the deal that had a sizable income in it, but also were able to sort of scale and grow your business in a way that doing perhaps the same project with someone else or another organization. So wanted to ask in regards to these sort of experience you've had. You mentioned Azure and Fabric. When you're talking about those sort of things, when the cloud is involved, when there is data analytics, uh, and there could be a sizable project involved in that. At what point would you say that this is maybe too small or too big, or maybe I should bring in other partners who can help me if it's a too big of a project, or if it's too small, maybe I should give it to someone else who has the bandwidth, who has a less, who has a bandwidth who can, because I'm doing bigger project, I don't have time to do smaller project. What do you say about those things?
Yeah. If it's like $10 million project or something, then we need to actually have like closer look at how things are. But we can take projects with like even with $20,000 all the way to, I mean, $20,000 may be like a proof of concept or putting together. So we can work with the budget what they have. Like we can look into reducing that. We can adjust things along and we have to keep the expectations of the client. I mean, if they are asking for Ferrari, then and we can only deliver like another smaller car, then we need to be upfront. We cannot actually deliver Ferrari because of these reasons or budget reasons or something. So most of the time we actually communicate that through some presentations or something, showing that this is how it works. So what are the features you wanted to cut down in order to bring it to the budget you have? So most of the time, in our case, we talk to the client about the budget. What do they have? I mean, we come up with the estimation, and then they may come back with others saying, "Oh, we don't have that much budget," or if they already done that research of estimating it, let's say it's like a $10 million project or something, then we are looking at partners, recruiting partners, or we are looking at parts of the project which we can actually bring in partners.
Yeah, I mean, it's greatly said. Just an example, we used to deal with a lot of manufacturers overseas, and the first thing they ask when we were talking about, buying a product, they say, "How many are you looking to purchase?" And I say, "Well, why are you asking that?" Because he said, "Well, if you are buying 5, the price is different than if you buy 1,000, or if you buy 10,000." So bringing a budget into the conversation is very important. You can expect a Ferrari if your budget is Toyota, right? So
Toyotas are nice though.
yeah, they are nice cars. Yeah. It gets you where you are, but
Yeah.
the ride is different, right? You see in a Ferrari, you got this sound, you got this engine, you got this, faster way of getting to your destination. But Toyota is get you there too, but not as fast, right? So
But yeah, but my thought is like even if you have that budget, you can get to the Ferrari side of it by different phases. So that's the communication we actually let our customers know. If you want to get to the Ferrari level, I mean, if they want to go with Ferrari, then
yes.
there are certain steps they can take. So that they get the budget approved each time, so that they can get to that level.
And I think what Pramod is also alluding to is if there's a specific solution the customer wants, but it's not completely within the budget, we're gonna work and accommodate, right? So we can strategically get there step by step. I think that's maybe another way to put it is, whatever the customer is looking for, it's not so attainable like it can't be done. So I think that's really important to let the customer know, give them hope, encourage them because they're maybe a middle-sized company competing with an enterprise world-class company, but they could still beat this enterprise company with the right strategy and the right people involved. So I guess we're kind of here as technologists to kind of level the playing field. We want everybody to play and be able to do it at the world-class level. And I think that's what's really exciting about our time is we can do that.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to probe as many questions when you are inside a project and having a conversation in delivering a sort of a statement of work is to probe and probe and probe, because at the end of the day, if the maybe a 10 or 5 or 6 steps to get where you need to be, but maybe the budget is only to do the first one, step 1 and 2, and then leave the rest when the budget comes in. That way you have a pipeline where you can actually deliver more services after the step 1 and 2 is done,
Right.
which makes the customer very happy too as well. In terms of advice you give other IAMCP members, because you're a great example of working together as partners, as member of IAMCP, and deliver the exact good service to the customers. What advice would you give to other IAMCP members who are members but they haven't partnered with each other? And what sort of advice would you give them?
Just do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I like what we are actually doing in the IAMCP Seattle chapter. we actually formed a group after this this P2P success. We start to expand that with Paul's leadership. We have other businesses in the group. We are meeting every week to actually refine that kind of process. So we always looking for, whenever there is a new project, we know that, oh, someone else can do that part of the project. And so we are not just waiting for that monthly IAMCP meeting or something. We are already talking every week with all the smaller group. It's not the whole big group of IAMCP Seattle, but there is a smaller group where we are actually looking for opportunities.
Got it. Got it. So you've done maybe one or two collaborations together, delivered it to the customer. And are there any opportunities in the horizon coming for you guys that you can work together again?
Yes, of course. There is many, not just two. There is many. So we are also talking about some other product idea, and all those came out of this, which we are taking to the next level. It's not just project based. We are bringing in products in the future.
Yeah, it's a collaboration of ideas. We're living in a really fun time, right? With the use of AI, the labor is getting distributed like superheroes. We can accomplish things that would normally not be attainable. So it really is about using the right strategy and collaborating with the right partners in order to get to those endpoints. For those companies that are mid-sized companies that live inside IAMCP partnership, that have companies and customers, I'd encourage you guys to cross collaborate and talk to others within the organization. Not be afraid to refer business into your own book, into your own client base, to see if there's ways that you can help your current clients, because that makes it more stickier, right? That's where your value add comes in. So I think that would be my thought, is just to be willing to put yourself out there. Obviously, you got to do it within reason, because not everybody's a Promod, a superstar that can go in there and do a fantastic job. But you got to have at least the willingness to find out. So there's a lot of cross collateral ideas. And what's really great about that too is you may find out that you refer somebody into your book, and they find a whole bunch more revenue for you that was just sitting there and you didn't even touch. And that's like finding $20 in your pocket you didn't know you had. It's pretty awesome. So that's what I would say is my recommendation to other IAMCP people.
Yeah, and you build that trust. So important to build that trust. You've already built that, and then anything coming on horizon or sort of on your pipeline, an opportunity, the first thing the person comes to your mind is Promod, in terms of because you've done this work together, and you built that relationship already. So that's very important. What would you say to businesses considering to renew IAMCP membership? I know that I talk about this all the time to people who are coming to the events. They're not member. We talk to them and say how important it is. It's really not very expensive either. It's very, inexpensive membership. What would you say to those guys? This is our advertisement at the end of the show, right? For IAMCP.
Yeah, to me, I think, there is all this value from IAMCP. Being a member, we can watch all those videos. Maybe I'm busy during the daytime when one of those events that shows up, and I really want to attend, but I cannot attend because of my meeting conflicts. I can go back and watch those videos, some of those recordings. If you are a member, that's how you can do it. And being a member, we bring that trust to the next level. We are not just outsider, actually looking at the opportunities. Or so being a member, that's the kind of values which we get, which I actually got from being a member.
Well, also being a member, you have connection, emails, phone numbers, and contacts internal on the IMCP page. So, not that you're gonna, hammer and cold call all the people within IAMCP, but you can reach out to each of the different partners by finding, their particular services directly and collaborate easily that way. You do have just more access, and then there are the little benefits, the parties, the social interactions, as Promod had spoken to. Promod and I, we're about 3 hours south of the Seattle chapter, so we make that trip pretty often, once a month at least, to go up, and we want to be there in person because we think it's that important. I never regret it. I always go, and I'm, schedule at least 3 or 4 other appointments along the way. But, us nowadays sitting here at my desk all day long, sometimes it's just nice to get out and see real people and shake a hand and have a conversation. So let's enter into the real world again.
Yeah. And one more other point that I actually remember is, so as a IAMCP member, we also get these opportunities from other partners. Like asking, that email showed up saying, are you doing any kind of SharePoint services, or do you have any expertise doing some Teams implementation or something like that? So that is unique. Partners from other chapters coming back and asking, I want to partner with someone who is doing certain part of the business that they are not doing. That's only open to the partners as well. That also I found very useful.
And you're not just limited to your chapter. You can go anywhere in
exactly.
And do business with all other chapters, like what we're doing here. We are SoCal, we are Seattle, and we are hoping to bring in other chapters into our partner event meeting on a monthly basis. It's all about collaboration, getting to know each other, and doing business with each other.
I also met with someone in UK and Germany and India. So these are different. I mean, or else we won't be connecting with them. That's the power of IAMCP.
Exactly. Well, this concludes our podcast. Thank you for both Danny and Promod to be my guest. Appreciate that. And looking forward to seeing you guys. And I'll follow up with you, Danny and Promod, individually on how we can work together, how we can partner with each other, and perhaps even introduce others who can do business with you. And looking forward to seeing you, Danny, when you come in here in October.
Yes,
and again, great. Thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, IAMCP SoCal, for giving us the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And good meeting you, Fred.